Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to do your January 2016 readings. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, drawing 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card as your overall theme or advice for the month. These are general readings, so they may not apply or resonate the same with everyone who watches them. If this one doesn't, I suggest you also check your rising and your moon sign as well. I am posting these at the end of December, so even though I am offering January specials, I try to run a special every month. My January specials will be personal readings for $1 a minute, beginning at 30 minutes and going all the way up to 90 minutes. However, if you're watching these at the end of December when they're posted, my December specials still hold until January 1st, and those are $25 for a half an hour, $40 for 45 minutes, and $50 for an hour. A special thank you for those of you who have allowed me to do personal readings for you. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and it's been keeping me very busy. And thank you to all of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe and give all your comments and feedback. It's greatly appreciated, so thank you. So let's get going on this reading. This is for Capricorn for the month of January 2016. Capricorn, January 2016. What does the first month of this beautiful new year hold for you? Capricorn, January 2016. Okay. For the first week, we have the Knight of Swords, followed by the Seven of Wands. For the second week, we have the Four of Cups, followed by the Two of Swords. For the third week, we have the Seven of Swords, followed by the High Priestess. For the fourth week, we have the Three of Swords, followed by the Queen of Wands. And as your overall theme and journal advice for the month, I pull a card from the bottom of the deck, and you have the Ace of Swords. So let's take a look at this, Capricorn. I apologize ahead of time for any long pauses during any of my readings. It just means I'm trying to put together the images and feelings I get as I study the cards. You know, I just finished doing Taurus's reading yesterday, and Capricorn, I have to say your reading is quite similar to Taurus, and it makes me wonder if astrologically there's something going on with the earth signs this month, or for the month of January 2016 rather. So let's get started. We begin with the Knight of Swords, followed by the Seven of Wands. Now, swords being the suit of our thoughts, ways of thinking, reason, logic, intellect. Knights being the bringer of the tarot. They can be very single-minded, very dedicated, very focused, almost obsessive in what they do. And swords being one of the universal signs of truth. I get a very strong reading off this card that if this doesn't actually represent an actual person in your life, Capricorn, something actually occurs to you either the end of December or the beginning of January. Some kind of truth, I believe, is being revealed to you, and that this is what this card is speaking of. I feel like there's either an actual person, and if this does reflect as an air sign, it would be Aries, Libra, or Gemini, or someone who manifests those traits. Something or someone is bringing you some kind of truth. There's some kind of truth that's being revealed, something cutting right to the heart of a certain matter. And as I'm looking over this reading, Capricorn, it's, like I said, it's very similar to the reading I had for Taurus yesterday, and it appears to be fairly relationship focused. So as I announced in the last video, if this doesn't resonate with you in terms of if you're not involved in a relationship at this time, or if it's not resonating with you, I would just suggest you watch videos for your rising and your moon sign as well. So I feel like the Knight of Swords is someone is bringing something to you. Something is being revealed to you. There's a truth that's being revealed to you. And the feeling I get off this card is that it comes rather quickly and with startling clarity, and it brings something up that I feel like you're not entirely ready to accept. And this is paired with the Seven of Wands. Wands, the element being air and fire, and wands representing creativity, passion, movement, action, power. And I feel like whatever this truth is that's being revealed, or some kind of truthful communication, somebody's bringing something to you, something they feel you need to know, something that has been hidden that you need to know. I feel like it puts you in a place where you're feeling very defensive. The Seven of Wands, seven also being a card of somewhat of conflict, and you have another seven in this spread as well. The Seven of Wands I look at as primarily the defensive card. It can also be a card of standing by what you believe in, or standing up for what you firmly believe in, or to protect something that you feel is yours, something that you feel a sense of possession or ownership over. This card can also speak to holding your ground and standing firm when other people are pointing otherwise, or trying to get you to give up something you feel is yours, or to get you to um, stand down, so to speak. And the feeling that I'm getting off of this combination of cards, Capricorn, is that this truth, and I feel like it's something about a relationship, someone that you're in a relationship with. Either you find something out, or somebody comes to you and tells you something about the person that you're involved in, or gives you a very clear and almost painfully cold opinion of uh, the relationship you're in, or the person that you're in a relationship with, and it puts you in a position where you're feeling very defensive, as if you have to defend your relationship, and as if you have to defend the person that you're in a relationship with. It's something that you see as yours, or something, if not in terms of actual possession, something that you feel you've invested a great deal of time and energy, and invested a lot of yourself in. And it feels like this is a truth that you don't want to see, you don't want to acknowledge, and you're firmly defending your view of it as it has been up until now. Now, in the second week of January, we have the Four of Cups, followed by the Two of Swords. Cups being the emotional suit, representing love, relationships, our emotions, our emotional landscape, so to speak. And this shows a man who is reclining back in the grass. There are three goblets in the grass next to him, and there is another beautiful one being offered to him from the sky, or from the divine, from someone. Someone's offering them their cup of emotion, cup of love. And I look at this card kind of as the boredom and ingratitude card. It appears that somewhere in the first half of the month of January, I think whatever it is that occurs in terms of this truth being revealed, or some kind of information somebody brings to you that they feel you should know, that puts you in a position, in a state of mind where you feel you have to defend your position in this relationship, or defend the other person that you're in a relationship with. And that directly following that, it leaves you in kind of an emotional state where there's almost a sense of apathy about this card, as if you're not really sure what to do, where to turn. You're just feeling a lack of passion, a lack of interest. This card also represents not seeing the things that you have around you, or the things that are either being offered to you, or the opportunities that are in front of you. And I feel like whatever this is that's being revealed, it kind of puts you in this sort of depressive, apathetic state where you're just not interested in anything. It feels maybe perhaps like you withdraw a little bit. Perhaps this defensive position you're in, maybe you're fighting the opinions of loved ones or friends around you who are trying to get you to see something about this relationship you're in for your own good, and it just puts you in a place where you withdraw a bit, and you're just not interested in anything. You're not really seeing what you still have around you, or what's being offered to you, or the opportunities that you might have. Now this is paired with the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords I look at as it can be a decision-making card, a card of duality, a card of balance, or a calling for balance. And this is a card that speaks of being in an uncomfortable place where you feel like you need to make a decision about something, or there's two decisions to be made in front of you, or um, something's happened, and I feel like connected to the first combination of cards. This puts you in a position where you're in a bad place. You don't know what to do. It's made you kind of doubt things, lose interest, and you're in a position where you feel like maybe there's something you need to do about it, but you don't want to. The Two of Swords can also represent, and I'm feeling this very strongly, as you're blindfolded in this, that you don't want to take the blindfold off. Combined with the Four of Cups, there's a strong theme of compliance, self-compliance in this. You could easily remove this blindfold yourself. There's some kind of truth, this truth that's been revealed to you, or this information about, I feel like it's a relationship, a love relationship primarily, that you just don't want to look at. You are clinging to your blindfold, you're clinging to you're clinging to and defending a previous way of thinking and a previous perspective on this relationship, um, and you don't want to take the blindfold off and see this relationship or see this individual in the light of the truth of reality, and you feel like it's almost easier to go through the discomfort and pain of holding and juggling these two swords rather than letting one fall by the wayside. It feels like a very uncomfortable place to be in, Capricorn. Um, yeah, so that's interesting. In the third week, we have the Seven of Swords, followed by the High Priestess. And I want to say 2.2. The other thing that I'm getting as I'm continuing to look over this reading, Capricorn, is with the Knight of Swords and the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords, we've got Three of Swords and the Queen of Wands in here. I'm also feeling a lot of angry kind of communication going on. I'm seeing a lot of angry words, angry communications, verbal conflicts, verbal sparring, just of a going back and forth as well, and of being a very defensive position. And it feels like perhaps there's one or even a group of people that are trying to get you to see something, or uh, and it puts you in a very defensive sort of place, and a place that you just don't want to look at it, you don't want to acknowledge it, you just want to stay kind of in this place that you're in, which is feels actually like a kind of an uncomfortable and painful place to be. So the Seven of Swords and the High Priestess. The Seven of Swords can speak to needing to be more clever in a situation, to be more thoughtful, and perhaps to be a little bit more off the grid or outside the box in your way of thinking, depending on where it falls in a reading and the cards surrounding it. But it's also a card of the thievery card. I've heard it referred to. It has a very slippery, deceptive feel to it, which is bolstered by the artwork in the card in this particular tarot deck, which shows a man kind of sneaking away. He has managed to steal quite a number of swords from someone. Not all of them. He's had to leave some behind, but he's made off with a fair amount of them, and he's sneaking off, and he's looking back over his shoulder with kind of a smarmy, what are you going to do about it kind of a look on his face. There's a lot of deception tied up in this card. It just has kind of a slippery, deceptive sort of feel to it. It's a card that can represent being taken advantage of or being exploited in some way, or being the one who's taking advantage of and exploiting someone else. It's a card of having something taken from you, if not actual financial resources or money, being a swords card, which is the suit of our thoughts. Um, it can also represent a taking away of our sense of self, a sense of self-identity, self-confidence, self-assurance, as was echoed in the Taurus reading as well. And I think that paired with the High Priestess being the one who sees much and tells very little, this is a card of trusting your intuition, of going with your gut. If you feel like you're being taken, and I think this card combination speaks of a couple of different things that connect with each other. One, of going with your intuition. If you have a feeling that everything is not as it appears to be in this relationship or with this individual, they may be fiercely insisting that they are innocent of whatever it is they're suspected of, or what other people are trying to say about them to you. But you have some kind of feeling or some kind of intuition. The High Priestess is a deeply intuitive card, a deeply intuitive individual. And this card speaks about trusting your intuition to find the truth and the clarity in a situation, to achieve inner peace, to deal with what's going on in the outer world and around you. And I feel like, one, this is what it's calling for you to do in this situation. And I also feel like in this combination, these two cards together speak of secrets, things being hidden, fighting, going back and forth to fight something being revealed. But the High Priestess is speaking quite loudly and clearly that whatever it is that you're hearing, whatever it is that you feel you need to defend, there's something inside of you that's at the basis of the foundation of that. And this card is asking you to trust in your intuition, to trust in your gut instincts, and that they're not all is as it seems, and that there are secrets that need to be revealed, things that need to be uncovered, or in fact, it feels as if at the end of December, the beginning of January, these things are being revealed, or people are coming to you to tell you something. And again, it feels like I'm just getting a lot of kind of angry communication, defensive stances, defensive words, heated words, arguments, conflict, verbal conflict, um, people's opinions, in kind of a very negative sort of, feels like a very churning, turbulent sort of month where there's just a lot of turbulent communication. I mean, I don't like to see that for you, Capricorn. It feels just very conflicted, like there's a lot of conflict, verbal arguing, verbal sparring, truths being revealed that you don't want to see. And someone is taking advantage of that. It feels like someone is taking advantage of you. Someone in this situation, in this relationship, is being exploited and leaves you feeling as if something is being taken from you. Secrets are being held. Something is being taken from you. It can also be the aspects of this high priestess. And I would suggest that you not allow that to happen. When we get feelings and intuitions, they usually spring from somewhere. And this card is really asking you, and I'm really feeling compelled to stress the message of this card about going within, trusting your intuition, being brave enough to let one of those swords fall, take the blindfold off, and see the truth for what it is so that you can be done with it. You can find your own inner peace and move on from this situation of secrets and manipulation. Now, in the last week of the month, we have the Three of Swords, followed by the Queen of Wands, a lot of swords, in this reading, and I often, I often get this feeling when I see the High Priestess or the Empress too in a reading where there's a lot of sword cards. It speaks to me of just a lot of conflict and a lot of heated arguments, heated words, verbal exchanges, negative verbal exchanges, very turbulent communications. So the Three of Swords is often looked at as the heartbreak, the heartache card. It shows a heart which is being impaled completely by three swords. It can be the card of betrayal. The bottom line, it's a card of deep emotional pain, and it's paired with the Queen of Wands. This card speaks of betrayals. It speaks of finding out about betrayals, about finding out about deceits and untruths, and I think in this reading particularly, it speaks of all of those things, as well as feeling as if you're at the end of the month being taken advantage of and exploited and lied to. And I'm sorry to see that for you, Capricorn. I'm sorry to see that for anyone. I don't like to see this card come up, especially in relationship to relationships. I think somewhere in the last half of the month, or you're ending the month, um, and as I said in the Taurus reading as well, forearmed, forewarned is forearmed, Capricorn. So if you find yourself in a relationship where this is happening, or people are trying to maybe get you to see some things that you really don't want to see, you're insisting they're not true, you're trying to defend it, um, you might want to take a step back and take a closer look and see what your gut, what your intuitive sense of knowing is telling you, um, to find a way to walk, to find a way to come to the truth of the situation, to be clear about once and for all so that you can find some peace to begin to come out of the situation and heal from it. These are cards that play out in terms of this happening, or the outcome being the most likely thing to happen if nothing changes. Your life is always in your hand, and you can always make decisions to walk a different path or react or act in a different way when you feel these things beginning to manifest. So in terms of the Three of Swords, it looks like you end the month, if nothing changes, or you take no steps to do anything different or walk a different path or walk away, that you're left feeling very heartbroken, very betrayed in some sense, a sense of deep emotional pain. Um, it's just kind of a sad card, maybe feeling a little lonely as well. Now, it's paired with the Queen of Wands. And again, I'm getting a very turbulent sort of energy about this. And I think this could play out two different ways. I think this could actually represent the actual person that you're in a relationship with. Um, this could also represent, you know, how you end up feeling at the end of the month. But I'm seeing this, the Queen of Wands being someone who, you know, queens like kings having reached the mastery of their suit. Um, the suit of Wands can be a very fiery, passionate suit. It's about creativity. This is a woman who has learned to balance and harness the creativity and fire and passion that she has um, in order to achieve a certain goal or pull things together and make them work for her. This is a woman who takes no prisoners, so to speak. This is someone who is very self-assured and very confident, and someone who likes things done her own way and doesn't really like to march to the tune of other people's drums. Um, this is someone who is, you know, it's very interesting because in the Taurus reading, one of the final combination of cards they got was the Seven of Swords and it was either the Nine or the Queen of Pentacles, and it speaks also, and I'm just getting almost the same sort of feeling off of this reading, which is why I wonder about what's going on with Earth signs this month, or at least with Capricorn and Taurus. It feels like just at the end of the month, you end up feeling as if kind of attacked and kind of very, again, I'm just getting a feeling, a lot of turbulence, a lot of conflict, a lot of arguing and angry communications, feeling betrayed and feeling very deeply, deeply hurt, feeling as if you've been taken advantage of, that something's been taken from you, or even that you feel a fool in some way, as if the character traits that this queen has, if it represents you in this situation, has been compromised somehow by this relationship, how it's played out, or someone actually taking advantage of you. For some of you, this could also resonate as character traits of the person that you're in a relationship with. It's a general reading. I'm not sure it's going to resonate differently for different people. Um, this heartbreaking heartache could cause you to kind of maybe take on more of the traits of the Queen of Wands in terms of you know, just feeling very independent and fiery, and I'm going to go off on my own path and bugger all of this for a penny. But it looks as if you end the month, or in the last part of the month, if nothing changes, that it plays out where you just feel kind of tired. I think tired. There's a lot of defensiveness in this. It looks like this is whatever it is that's being revealed to you about this relationship, this situation. Again, if you're not in a relationship, none of this may resonate for you at all, or it could play out in more of a job career sort of situation. But I am just getting a more significant intimate relationship off of it first. It looks like whatever it is that someone or some situation, something that's trying to make itself clear to you about this relationship that doesn't feel good, it looks like you just don't, at least in the beginning of the month, you just don't want to look at it. You don't want to admit the truth of or what is perceived as the truth of the situation, the person you're involved with. And it leaves you in a place where you really know maybe deep down that you should do something about it, you should make some kind of decision, but you don't want to. You're still holding on to that blindfold. Um, but in reality, it looks like, you know, you're being taken advantage of in some way, you're being exploited in some way. There's a lot of deceptiveness and secrets being held, and at the end of the month, I think that you may come to a place where, as the High Priestess is suggesting, you just become brave enough to take that blindfold off and to look at it, and the clarity of what you see leads you to a place where you feel betrayed and deeply hurt and heartbroken. But this represents the ending of it, the culmination, the finalizing of it, so that you can accept it for what it is, and begin to heal and move on from it, and become perhaps uh, the beautiful, independent, self-assured, passionate, fiery person that you are, if that's where the Queen of Wands resonates for you. Now, as an overall theme and general advice of the month, you have the Ace of Swords, uh, the sword that cuts right to the truth of the matter, right to the heart of the matter, and sometimes it can be a very painful. In terms of this reading about this truth being revealed to you, it feels very, very sudden, very powerful, and very startlingly clear. There's a real, almost a cold and painful clarity to it. And as it's your overall human advice for the month, it feels like the cards are pointing to no matter how painful you think it is, this is something that you really need to take a look at and see for what it really is so that you can move on and through this and find your pathway through this. And to be brave enough to embrace the truth and move on. And if this is resonating for you as a relationship in which you're being lied to or betrayed, taken advantage of, somehow, or your sense of self is being taken away, uh, I think it's time to take a look at that, to accept what is, and to move on from that and to begin the healing process from that. Because there are an awful lot of people out there, Capricorn, and everyone deserves to be in a relationship if they so choose and so desire, where they're appreciated and loved and where everyone starts out on equal footing. So I think the Ace of Swords is asking you, is calling you to allow that truth to be revealed, to accept it for what it is, to embrace it for what it is if you can, so that you can find your way through that, and achieve that sense of inner peace, that sense of inner knowing. And again, the other strong echoing piece of advice I'm getting is to trust your intuition. Um, we all inside of us have a range of emotions that we use as kind of an inner moral compass, a way of appropriating our actions. And the High Priestess is the queen of such a place. She has learned to do that. She's very wise and very complex, and she has faith and total confidence in her sense of intuition, which is where she gets her own inner peace from, and with which to deal with the turbulence of what's going on in her outer environment. So, so yeah, Capricorn, it looks like a challenging and emotionally and mentally challenging month for you. It looks like it's going to be one of kind of going back and forth with people about what is true and what isn't true. The cards are pointing to not being so defensive, to go within, to allow the blindfold to fall off, to trust your own intuition so you can find your inner peace, find your way through this, and allow whatever needs to come to an end, possibly to come to an end, so that you can begin healing and move on. And it looks like the only way through that is by grasping the truth, by embracing and accepting the truth of what is in this relationship. So Capricorn, I hope this video has resonated for you, has given you some wisdom and insight. Again, forewarned is forearmed, and we always have our own choices and decisions to make about how we choose to look at something or not look at something, and make different decisions to take different directions in our life and in our relationships. So I look forward to seeing how this plays out for you next month, in the month of February. I hope uh, that it will look a bit brighter, and I think that it will. You tend to be very rooted and grounded people, Capricorns, and I think at the end of the day, you are going to be that rooted, grounded, and practical person you are, and embrace the truth of what is, so that you can move forward in your life in a different kind of direction. So if you'd like an extension of this reading, or you would like to have a private consultation, just click on the About button on my channel's homepage, and it will give you more detail about who I am, the services I offer, and my contact information, which is Maggie, the number 1, McGuire at gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you in February, and as always, I wish you joy, peace, and a happy life. Bye, guys.